Good morning, and welcome back to the Endgame. Unfortunately, I had pretty much organised a Monster Hunter Freedom 1 recording session, and then I realised that the people that I was going to play with were actually helping an HR1. First time in the game. That just was not going to work. There's not much of an expression of the Endgame in Monster Hunter Freedom 1. Yeah, we just absolutely blitz through HR1 quests with an otherwise full G-rank team. With one person in HR1 is just not really going to work, is it? It's not what I had planned for initially. So what we are doing instead is Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. That's fine. I think it's about time that we do this game. Don't you think? Freedom 1 is kind of the first choice, because I can't always get a group to play that game. Freedom Unite, a little bit easier. But that's alright. Allow me to get my chat, and we will begin. Or properly begin anyway. Begin without distractions, such as my Twitch chat. Well, no, I'm not suggesting that you guys are a distraction, I'm just saying that having to set it up can sort of take up my attention. Okay, let's get moving. Our first quest is Black Gravios. Not just one, but in fact two, being fought at the same time. As is usually the case, I'm just having the quests that I'm doing being randomly selected by a random quest selector. So that way I can just keep it fun. We don't want two Black Diablos, I can really do without that. Alright, so at the moment it seems that we've got 3 people. There is space for one more person to join if they are minded to do so. And hopefully we can keep this group together for the duration of this livestream. Ziaz has now left the room. I don't know what that means, because he didn't actually check the quest board, or at least I didn't see him move to the quest board, so maybe he has left because, I don't know, maybe not much was going on for a while, I really don't know. Alright, I may bring combination materials for power coatings, given that it is going to be 2 monsters in one hunt. And maybe I do have empty bottles in my box. Yeah, that'll be enough. Alright, that works for me. I suppose I could also bring close range coatings, yeah. Really, I could also bring paralysis coatings. Could be something to bring indeed. No, don't replace Book of Combos #1. See, that is the downside to really fast inputs without checking to see precisely what you're doing. Before I had even realized what was going on, I had replaced my Book of Combos 1. Not quite what I had in mind. Well, these close range coatings can go back in, and I'll bring my Book of Combos 1 back into my... No. Not what I wanted, thank you. I don't know if we can expect that guy to come back or not. I really don't know. What I might do, however, is advertise the room on Discord. Oh, the cropping's not quite right. Oh, do you know why? It's because we had a major Discord update. So after the major Discord update, this cropping is no longer quite right. So let me fix this. So we'll want to open out the right a little bit more, I think. Do we? I don't know how far we want to open that out. Bring the left in. Well, let's go a bit further. Let's go 70. Alright. 400. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to need to do this while live. It's just that we did have a major Discord update recently, so this needs to be adjusted. And open the right out a bit. I don't know how far we want to open it out, but yeah, that'll probably be enough. Okay. I'm being described as the Overlord. I don't really know about that. It's probably excessive. It's a good way to scare the shit out of people and encourage them not to join the room. They have to be on their best behavior. I mean, really. So it looks like Ziaz has joined the room again, which is good. It means that he was actually... Oh, not this crap again. See how I've got a black screen? This is an OBS issue, and it's frustrating. So occasionally, and not all the time, but occasionally when I have the game minimized, it comes up black on the stream, and it's ridiculous. It's never happened before. It only happened as of a recent OBS update, because, you know, that's just how it is with services these days. When you update, they become less functional, which is really good, really, really good. Like, they add functionality, but then basic functionality begins to not work quite as well. Really worth it, you know, definitely the sort of trade-off that I'm willing to make to improve my product. But admittedly, I don't pay for OBS, and nobody really does, so I'm not in a position to complain, which I kind of hate. I'd rather pay for it and then be in a position to complain very vocally about things getting worse. Alright, I have seen no indication that another person will be joining, although... Who is Frags? Let me just have a look. Because I can see that Frags did check to see the room that Spearman was in, so he may actually be joining. I'll ask him. I wouldn't want to depart without him. That would be unkind. It wouldn't really be my fault. Because he hasn't... okay, he said... he is saying that he's joining the room. Really, that's a good way to get departed without, because he didn't really explicitly say that he was joining. I just suspected that he might, and it's in my interest to have a full group going forward, so I waited, and also asked if he was coming or not. In the meantime, I will organize a beverage. I don't really know if that's what the French say. And besides, it's a German beer, so I should lose the French accent and French pronunciation. It is Paulana once again today. Oh, very good. I just heard the sound of someone posting a quest. What on earth? What on earth is going on? Loki, that's not how it works, unfortunately. I mean, I don't really know what planet you're on, but... I don't know who that was. I'm going to assume that it wasn't Frags, the person that I was just communicating with in chat. But, yeah, I mean, did he not... Maybe, okay, if I give him the benefit of the doubt, perhaps we didn't load in yet on his screen. And when he joined, it was like he was in an empty room, and he didn't realize that there was already a quest going on. I mean, he may not actually be jaw-droppingly stupid. Anyway. Yeah, it's a little bit, it's unseemly behavior to walk into a room where there's already a quest going on and just slap your own quest on the board. It's a form of begging that really is beneath the dignity of most people playing Monster. Not all people. I can't speak for all people on that, but... Anyway, we've got a full group now, which is good. We probably want a full group when fighting 2 black Gravios at the same time. It's not a requirement, it just helps. So I'll be using bow, of course. I feel that I always use this loadout when going up against Gravios. Basically, it's the Terracianator bow. It is called Eraser. It sounds very dramatic, doesn't it? It's like I'm going to erase the monster from existence. I'm going to expunge the monster from the face of the earth. Also, hello Mad Duck Wizard in the chat. Alright, I'm not sure how we're going to play this. It looks like we'll start with this Gravios, which I'm happy to do. We've even got a pitfall trap down on the ground. So that really does mean that we're committing to this one now. It is very annoying, however, when this happens. He's got a ranged attack, so if you stand in front of him, he will be prompted to do that. Alright, so it looks like we've got a level 4 charge on this, actually. I may as well use it. I don't believe I have load up on this bow, it just has a level 4 charge innately. If you hear any weird sounds, it's because Frags is using the rather silly event crab dual blades. I can't at this stage remember what they're called. I have them as well, but yeah. They're quite useful. They're not just silly, they're not just a joke weapon. They're probably the best water dual blades in the game if you're not using the guild sabers. Oh, whoops. I got a bit distracted by my audio levels there. Oh no, I'm going to get caught in that. Didn't just get caught in that, I got killed by that. That's alright, it just goes to show that I don't have much room for error. I can't be standing in front of Gravios laser beams while running around with my gunner loadout. Fine. Sometimes it happens very quickly, and there's not much you can do about it. Here's the question, though. Should I waste an ancient potion if we're killing these monsters this quickly? I mean, that's quite impressive that we managed to kill it that fast. I understand that he's one of 2 monsters, so he's going to have reduced health, but that was still faster than expected. Nicely played, though. I might open with paralysis coatings. That way we'll have the monster stuck in place in much the same way as we did it with the first monster, using the trap. Frags is signaling that the monster is over here. He looks very large from a distance, doesn't he? This is not an area where I'm used to fighting these monsters. At least not up here. Right, you're paintballed now? Or not? No, it was just a delayed paintball. Yeah, if you're not the one hosting the monster, sometimes the paintball is a bit delayed going out. Maybe I can paralyze him in the trap. Let's see how we go here. Probably won't happen. I was hoping to get some paralysis before he got in the trap. There we go. I managed it. Nice. Given that, we may actually kill this one even faster. And indeed, I don't think it's going to be necessary for me to improve my health. In other words, drink an ancient potion. I guess restore my health to its full size. Please don't run towards me. I'm feeling very fragile at the moment. No. So it's actually safe to do what I just did. I didn't just fluke it. Basically, that is by design. That's how you should approach the Gravios laser. I don't really care about killing him in the lava. I hope no one else minds, but yeah, let's fucking kill this guy. So the Gravios laser beam does not immediately come out when he begins his sweeping beam. So he'll start from our right side and then move to our left side. So whenever you're in front of the Gravios, there is a risk that that attack comes out. And if you're going to be in front of him, it's best to be slightly to your right, you know, the right-hand side, you know, the monster's left side. So that way you can actually get out of the way of that sweeping fire laser. So yeah. That turned out fairly well, aside for the 2 deaths, one of which was actually my death. But it happened so suddenly, and yeah, I really don't mind. Victory was the result. So I will move on. I will assess my shortcomings and move on. Well, we're going to have to get something real difficult, because we completely bodied those monsters. I mean, you have to understand that even with the reduced health, you're dealing with Gravios. These monsters have quite high health. But they were simply no match for our full G-rank team. The rewards aren't very impressive, are they? They don't seem to match the scale of our victory. Although I must remember that we did die twice. Not that dying is going to affect your rewards, I'm just saying that I guess it was a bittersweet victory. It did not come without sacrifice. That is not a quote. Or a reference, But yes, let us now do the random hunt command and have our next quest selected. It is Crimson Fatalis. Oh my god. I'm going to ask if anyone has a weak Crimson Fatalis, because that would make life a little bit easier. I'm going to try and get in contact with them. I'm going to join the room and then ping them all. This is what I'm going to do. I'll try to demonstrate this. So once I've joined the room, I can do CP, and then there you go. So that sends a message to everyone in the group. Well, not everyone, because at the time I don't think Frags was in the room, but that's alright. If no one has a weak one, that's fine. I can just post a regular one. Kitomi has gone and posted one. He's Spearman, by the way. He's gone and posted. I don't know if it's a weak one or not, but yeah, basically we had DLC Fatalis put on the board. That's why I said the regular one. Or not put on the board, but selected for us when I did the random hunt command. The DLC Fatalis is a little bit weird. I don't believe the rewards are quite right. I just know that we probably want the standard Crimson Fatalis. That way we know precisely what the health is going to be like, we know what the rewards are going to be like, and I don't need to second guess anything. I'm going to put Crimson Fatalis on the board myself, in the hopes that perhaps I do actually have a weak one. I really don't know. I don't know when I last fought him. It's been a long time. I'll bring my adrenaline set. Wherever that is. Where are you? There you are. That'll do me. I don't know precisely how to eat for a boost that isn't health, if that makes sense. You know, I would like to get a food boost, but I don't want to increase my health at all, so I'm just going to play it safe and not eat at all. Much like I'm doing in real life. I still haven't eaten today. But, yeah, if I go over here, we want the end time. So you can see in this list of quests, you've got 3 Fatalis monsters. One is in Castle Shreed, one is in the Battleground, and the other is in the Tower. Now, Battleground is where you're going to be fighting Crimson Fatalis. So even though it doesn't explicitly say, hey, this is Crimson Fatalis, you can check which one it is based on the location. So, yeah. Unfortunately, Fatalis is not really considered a different monster depending on the color. He is just one single monster, as far as the monster list is concerned. But indeed, there are 3 variations. And, yeah, we'll see how we go. I'm going to be running Adrenaline. It is not advised to do this when you haven't recently fought Crimson Fatalis. Once everyone is in the room, I'm going to send a message to them in the emulator chat. Apparently this person has a question. Who is Fall even? Oh, okay, so he's not in the room right now. Oh. Is saving Fatalis HP considered as cheating? No. I'm not sure why he's asking that question. It's a feature of the game, so, well, he's asking me because I'm the person who deals with cheaters on Hunsterverse, but the point is that You know, anything that can be naturally done within the game is not cheating. So when he says saving Fatalis HP, I'm assuming he means... I really don't know what he means, to be honest. But... I'm assuming he's just talking about ensuring that he's always got a quest that has a weak Crimson Fatalis. That's not a problem at all. He's like, yeah, it's a form of strategy that you can do. That's right. It's a strategy, it's something that is allowed for within the way the game works. It's certainly not cheating, and not something I would try to enforce as cheating. That would be pretty unfair. Okay. So getting back to the game, I have a few things I need to work out here. The first is my ammunition, and the second is bombs to get my health down to a level that I want. So we want small barrel bombs as well as large barrel bomb plus. I'm only going to do this once, okay? So if I die while I'm in adrenaline health, I'm not going to persist, okay? I'm not going to try to do it again, because if I do die once, it's probably because some meteor has fallen on me, or I've done something stupid. Am I being given something? No. It's fine. The other thing, yeah, so ammunition, let's make sure we've got fire shots. I know it sounds a little unintuitive and a little bit ironic that a red flaming dragon is going to be primarily weak to fire. He's technically primarily weak to dragon, but fire is his perfectly reasonable secondary weakness. So I will be shooting that out of my gun today. I'll also bring backup. I'll bring probably Pierce level 1. I think that rapid fires out of this gun, does it not? Let's have a look. So this screen is actually where you can see your rapid fire. So rapid fires Pierce level 1 and Flaming S. So that really will do me. And then combination materials for that. So I don't need antidotes. I don't need hot drinks. Huskberry and fire herb. I used to have a cluster shot set. I don't believe I've got it anymore. But that works very well as well. If you're going for high damage against Fatalis, cluster loadout, elemental, heroics, or adrenaline works well as well. Works well as well. Never use that phrase. For anyone who watches these videos trying to improve their English, don't use that phrase. Just don't do it. I am conscious that there are people who watch this who do not have English as a first language, and I certainly don't want to give people bad habits. Occasionally I will say something and I'm like, wow, that is bad English. Do not say as I say. As they say. Am I missing anything obvious? I don't believe so. I've got the ammunition that I need. I've got combination materials for it. I'm obviously rapid firing, so that's going to give me a lot of longevity. I could bring normal level 1 just in case, but I don't think that'll be necessary. I'll do it, but yeah, that should be more than enough. Someone said it was cheating. I'm just trying to make sure that there isn't some weird exploit that I haven't heard of in regards to Fatalis health. Even if there is a weird exploit, it's not... If it's something that you would be able to do without the assistance of a cheat code or something like that, I really don't have qualms about it. But... Yeah, it's fine. Whoever tried to suggest that that's cheating really is foolish. Anyway. Let us skip the cutscene. Get started. Oh, yes. This is not good. Not good. I forgot to tell them that I'm using adrenaline and not to life powder me. It's good to ensure that people know this. I can't do this. I'm just going to have to hope that they are aware of what's going on while I'm intentionally hurting myself. It's actually more dangerous at this stage for me to actually take the time to explain what's going on. Alright, so I should need, I think, 3 small barrel bombs. What is my current damage? It is 480. So this should take me to 600 and something. Like 625, something like that. Keep going. Yep, 624. I'm just going to make sure that my health doesn't go to a point where I am back in my lower damage. Okay, healed up. Cool, 624, that's what we want. I'll be able to do that one more time if necessary, so if someone life powders me, it's not the end of the world, but I will be remarkably pissed off. Alright. You can see I'm staying out of the range of the tail there. Alright, so presumably this one is... yeah, he is full health. I'm not seeing anything on him that is weak. I can see Hitomi is actually using the loadout that I used to use for cluster shot, but he's interestingly not shooting cluster shot, at least not that I can see. So, there you go. I've already got 1 death. It's not a good start. Right at the beginning of the quest. These falling meteors, I have to confess, are probably the most annoying thing about this monster. He remains on the ground for the most part, unlike the other Fatalis monsters, but those falling meteors really do shit in your cereal when you're trying to do a run like I'm doing here with reduced health. You usually have warning for when they drop, but occasionally they come down very suddenly and you just can't do anything about it. You get a little white indicator to say that there's one falling, but it depends on where you are, and it also depends on what you're doing at the time. My best advice is to ensure that you're ready to avoid whatever is going to come down at any given time. Because if you're not ready, you're likely to have issues. I would like to flinch you out of the air, but it also feels a little dangerous. If I had fought you more recently, I would be more confident to do that. Keeping myself moving. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm not committing to shooting the monster while he's summoning those falling meteors, because it's just not worth it. It's too dangerous, and I can't take a hit right now. I really can't take a hit. I think I don't have guts, do I, on this set? So, yeah. I have adrenaline +2, attack up medium, and capacity up, so the guts might help. But yeah, what I'm doing right now is just playing it safe. Playing it smart. Oh, Xiao's is dead again. I believe he has now died twice, so... as I say, not a good start given that the quest has only just begun. Like, this is actually a quest that goes for... what? Ooh, not good. Fuck. This is a quest that goes on for a long time, okay? So it's not very encouraging to see that we have a death already. 2 deaths. We're actually at risk of failing very, very early on. So we need to tighten our belts and be very careful. I'm actually tempted to try again. I'm tempted to abandon and just give it another shot, because we are very unlikely to succeed under these circumstances. What? So we get 2 deaths in the first 5 minutes and then we just hang out for another 25 minutes. Yeah, okay. Well, probably more like another 15, but... no! What are you doing? Maybe you just weren't aware. Maybe you weren't actually looking. What the fuck? Yeah, I mean, admittedly, I didn't warn them. If you don't warn them, they just do it, right? They're not observant enough, usually, to figure out that you're intentionally harming yourself. But fucking hell, it's so annoying when it happens. Because I get it, it's meant to actually be assistance. It's meant to help you when you're using a life powder. But yeah, whatever. Fucking, I don't give a shit. The entire reason why I was in that position was because I was having to get my health back down. That was fucking useless. But yeah, obviously he didn't notice that I was intentionally harming myself. It would have been nice if he did, but I can't blame him because I didn't alert him to it, so... fine. We will just do it again. We've lost that stuff. We've lost what we had. So I just have to replenish it. Because it's a failed quest, not an abandoned quest. I'm not so annoyed about the fact that we failed because I was expecting it, right? I would have liked for it to have been someone else to die for the final failure, the final nail in the coffin, as it were, but fine. I saw that there was a danger, but no, I'd allowed myself to get in that position because I was too focused on lowering my health after that fucking life powder. I'm also in the middle. If you ever see me in the middle and you're watching live, scream at me, please, for God's sake. I will move myself into the middle occasionally to... Really? So what, what is the reason for you leaving? Are you leaving because we're doing Crimson Fatalis? Because he did die twice, so maybe he feels some contrition for the fact that he died twice. I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not concerned. The dying is fine. The fucking life powder is what has bothered me. But I'm concerned that this person has left the room because we're doing Crimson Fatalis. I would rather that not be the case. I would rather work around him. I don't need to do Crimson Fatalis. I'm happy to do something different. But he's gone now, so fine. This is the thing. If we're going to do Crimson Fatalis, I want it to be with a full party. This guy has left the room presumably because we're doing Crimson Fatalis, which then ironically leaves us in a position where we shouldn't really be doing Crimson Fatalis. Unless we can get a fourth person, I don't know. But... yeah, it's, this is precisely why, if he's going to leave, on account of the fact we're doing Crimson Fatalis, I would rather just do a different quest, because I don't want to do it with 3 people. I'll ask Arx if he wants to play. So fortunately we are able to get a 4th person. It's not really guaranteed when this happens, but... yeah. Because Arx is always around, he does end up in most of my Monster Hunter Freedom Unite live streams. Yeah, it's a little unfortunate that that guy felt that he needed to leave. Would have been happy to negotiate with him. Along the lines of, okay, I'm going to capitulate immediately. Like, oh, you don't want to do it? Okay, we won't do it. Easy. But whatever. We're kind of committed to it now. I don't quite understand what's going on in the chat. Can we change the Hunsterbot profile picture to this? Portrays the Rathalos charge attack in such a wonderful way. Does it? Does it really? Is that... So instead of this, right? Instead of this, we're gonna have this. That's an excellent idea. He said sarcastically. Arx is running cluster shot. The thing with cluster is that it takes a very long time to set up. So if you're using cluster shot level 3 and 2 and probably 1 as well, and bringing combination materials for all 3, A, you need to completely annihilate whatever inventory you had before, and B, you need to fill it with lots of stuff. Presumably, he's not doing what I just described, because he was very quick to set that up. Unless he did do it before he came into the room, I don't know. What I do need to do, however, is cool drink. And I will alert the team that I'm doing adrenaline. I'm just going to see who did the life powdering last time. Anyway, I don't know who it was. I think it might have been the guy who died twice. If it was the guy who died twice, then he did succeed in basically contributing in the worst possible way. He died twice, and then he also life powdered me out of adrenaline. So, not great. Not great. Let's try that again. Take 2. Spearman has reacted with a question mark to my comment that I'm doing adrenaline. Do you know what adrenaline is? This does not bode well. I was not expecting a question mark in response. Wow, maybe I really was foolish to not even say a word about intentionally harming myself. Because after having explicitly stated what I'm doing, I still got a question mark. So, I was obviously operating under a false sense of confidence that people would have noticed that I'm doing this intentionally. Anyway, don't mind me. I'm engaging in an act of self-harm. Alright, so yeah, one of the good things about the previous failure was that we failed pretty quickly. So, yeah, good news. I didn't need to replenish combination materials, I just had to stock up on ammo. And I suppose, what else? Can't remember what else now. I just did it automatically, without really paying attention. Very good. So Arx is shooting cluster shot. I'm just kind of between the monster and a rock right now. I want to be out of the range of the tail, but close enough to deal damage. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. I was a bit worried that I'd be in range of the roar. So with the roar, it is very close range, which is to say it doesn't project very far out from the monster, but also the positioning is directly in front of the monster. So it's very directional and limited in range. Again, not committing to any shooting while meteors are coming down. I could see there that Arx is not so concerned about shooting during that. I am concerned. I don't want to take the risk. Maybe you can make an assessment on where the meteors are coming down. Maybe they have a limited area in which they come down. But, or is Hitomi also shooting cluster shot? I can't quite see. Hitomi is using the cluster loadout, to be clear. It's just last time I saw... Yeah, Hitomi is using cluster. Okay. Just out of range for flaming shots, that's why I haven't been shooting. So yeah, it could have been Hitomi, could have been Arcs shooting during meteors, but... You know, that's their choice. I'm not taking such risks. A little bit closer now, maybe? A little bit. You can see it's still just out of range. Elemental shots are usually much shorter range than other shot types. They have the shortest range of any shot type, actually. Because they actually just disappear. Hello, Hussein. Just watching to see what he does next. Obviously, a very safe time to do this is when he is flinched. Oh, whoops. Probably not a great time to reload, because if he chose to cast the first meteor on top of me, that would have been it. I would have been a dead hunter. As far as the damage being dealt, I think the people running cluster are doing a little bit more damage than me. But this is still a good way to harm a Fatalis. Oh no, that's my bad. As you can see, I can take a hit, but I don't want to be put in a position where I am taking a hit, if that makes sense. This fight is quite different, Hosing. So, Crimson Fatalis compared with standard Fatalis is much more grounded. He doesn't really fly in the air much. Occasionally he will, but yeah, standard Fatalis very often is flying in the air. This Fatalis remains on the ground, but he does frequently cast down raining meteors. Like so. And it is very annoying, like it will affect your experience. They obviously deal a lot of damage because you're dealing with a Fatalis in G rank, and you have to be constantly on alert to avoid them. So what I'm doing to ensure that I remain safe is I'm moving around and not shooting whenever he's doing it. Because otherwise I'm at risk of just dying. That's the bottom line. Not sure what Frags is signaling for. I don't really like the fact that I'm having issues with the environment right now, so I feel like I'm between the monster and a wall, and I can't really create enough distance between us to be comfortable. Alright, let's knock him out of the air. Didn't happen, sadly. Oh. Looks like they're trying to... Hitomi is trying to get Wyvern Claws from Frags. Wyvern Claws, of course, being used to combine cluster shots. Come on. Oh, not good. So, he's doing a special attack now where he summons down lots of these meteors, and then he goes into a diving attack as the finisher. Should be safe to reload. Just barely. That's a good flinch. Trying to break these wings. Again, because of the terrain, it feels difficult to get in a comfortable position. There we go. Good knockdown. It's a bit harder to do aerial cluster shot, because cluster will usually appear on the ground rather than in the air. You can do a little bit of damage with cluster in the air, but it's nowhere near as good. Hitomi, I think, is still trying to get his claws, unless he's signaling for something else, I don't know. Not completely sure. Well, even if Fatalis were capturable, he wouldn't be now. Alright, let's combine our fire shots. Bit of a dangerous time to be doing it. Oh god. And there goes frags. Death number 2. Almost in range of the roar there. Yeah, I hate this corridor. This corridor feels very uncomfortable. I just hate this location. I hate this location. I hate this variant of Fatalis. I don't like him at all. He bothers me to no end. Let's try to bring him over here. The spot where you fight him at the very beginning is probably the best place to fight him. Alright. I'm going to hope that he dive bombs in my direction. He is dive bombing in my direction. Excellent. He has ended up precisely where I wanted him. Which is where we start at the beginning. Making sure I'm still in adrenaline health. That's the worst thing, when you think you're in adrenaline health and then you're just not. So you've been standing there at risk of death for no actual return on investment. Because when he does that, when he starts flying in the air, he will immediately start summoning those meteors. If you're really unlucky... Jesus, I should have been watching him. Fortunately, that wasn't on my position. When he begins summoning those meteors, you can get unlucky, and the very first one ends up being right on your position and you just die. It happens very suddenly. It's very unfortunate. But, yeah, the way you get around it is by anticipating that it might happen and getting ready to avoid it. That's pretty much how this fight works. You must always be anticipating the possibility that something like that will happen. Alright, we are now officially out of flaming shots. I suppose I could have asked someone to bring them for me. Like, Frags could have been the ammo guy. He's the ammo guy for Hitomi, so... yeah, he could have been my ammo guy as well. Sadly, I didn't really think to do that, but that's fine. Oh well. It is that close. I mean, I am that close to failure the whole time. It's unfortunate, but we can try again. Because the health carries over to the next quest, basically. Even though we failed. Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but that's alright. Why? Are you a real person? I'm just asking, are you a real person? What is with this question mark? If you're going to communicate, I encourage you to do it with a little more specificity. Like, a question mark under these circumstances is really not helpful. It doesn't communicate anything. What it shows is confusion, and your confusion at this stage is, by extension, my confusion, because you would be better off not saying anything at that stage. Like, what do you mean a question mark? The last time you sent a question mark, it was in response to me saying, don't life powder me because I'm using adrenaline. I can readily accept that you might not know what adrenaline is, hence the question mark. But, you know, quest failure, followed by me saying, let's try that again, and then you responding to that with a question mark, again, that's not just confusing for you, that's confusing for everyone. Just communicate or don't would be my suggestion. Quite literally. I mean, there's nothing else to be said than that. Do I need to top up my huskberries? No. What I do need, however, is my flaming shots. And I'll top up my pierce. I was only able to shoot one in the end before I met my untimely demise. Unfortunately, Frags did die twice. It is what it is. He just needs to play more carefully. He's decided to go ranged. Maybe that's best for him. I can say that when you're going Blade Master and you've got a whole load of crag explosions, or rather cluster explosions going off the whole time, it's probably not conducive to a smooth hunt. So, yeah. Let's just do it again. Doing it again. As I said, the health carries over, so we don't really need to worry about failure this time. I think we'll get it. I didn't necessarily want the entire recording to be dominated by Crimson Fatalis, but that's what was rolled. And to be honest, I was expecting it. Once I decided, hey, we're going to do Crimson Fatalis, I had a feeling that it was going to take up much of the recording time, because that's just what the Fatalis monsters are in these older games. They are a big time investment. So, yeah. I think it is wise for me to not do it very often, because when I do it, you're going to get a whole lot of it. It's very binary. It's either no Fatalis or lots of fucking Fatalis. It's one or the other. But at least those of you who don't play these older games can see what it's like. You're in it for the long haul. But when we depart on this quest, you'll be able to see that the wounds that the monster has sustained will have carried over. The reason why it's not ideal to fail, I mean, it sounds pretty reasonable, doesn't it, that the health carries over. The reason why it's not ideal to fail is because, of course, you're not getting any rewards. So you're spending time fighting this monster, but there are no rewards coming as a result, at least when you survive the duration of the quest, which ends up being about 25 minutes. You'll get a repel, and then you get rewards as a result. But if you die before the repel, like if you have quest failure before you get to 25 minutes, you don't get anything. So that's why it's not encouraged to do that. It's encouraged to survive up until the repel, you get your rewards, and then you try again. If you fail, it really does feel like a big waste of time. Instead of getting multiple rewards for the same monster, you just get the kill rewards at the end. So, that's that. I don't think I topped up my cool drinks, which is probably not good. But, yeah. Can I just say for the record, he never did actually say anything more after sending a single question mark in the chat. Like, this guy is... Anyway. I've played with him in the past. I've got old Freedom 2 recordings with Spearman, where I've commented on his rather eccentric communication style, but yeah, he hasn't changed, we'll put it that way. So yeah, whenever you start this quest, you do want to get out of there, because he does sometimes do the fly forward attack. Probably not a good idea for me to do this now, when he's doing meteors. Again, I use the word meteor with the understanding that correctly meteors are actually extraterrestrial, but I think it's a good description of what he's casting down. Flaming rocks from the sky, meteor. You know, it's just a single word to describe something that would otherwise be a bit of a long, drawn-out explanation. I forgot to really point it out, but he should have a chest wound. We haven't broken any... See his chest wound, though? Yeah, we didn't break the horns or anything, but his wound has carried over from the previous hunt. And therefore his health also has carried over. It's not just what we've broken on him, it is actually the HP that carries over. I don't know if it carries over exactly, or if it resets to a certain threshold. I don't know, because I haven't checked the health in that sort of detail, but basically we have a weak Crimson Fatalis. That is the bottom line. So what I'll do, because I've learnt my lesson now, I can survive a tail whip, a single tail whip. If I do survive it, what I'll do is I'll heal myself beyond adrenaline health, and then I'll take myself just into adrenaline health, as I've done now, so that way I'll know that I'll be able to survive another one. That's the best way for me to not die. Because getting hit with the tail whip, I can survive that. The other stuff I can't survive, so I should at least work to avoid getting one-shot by tail whipping. That is within my gift. I cannot, however, prevent one-shots from his other stuff. That is a given. I did start shooting a little prematurely there. I should have waited for the other meteors to find their mark. And he's dead. That's how close we were. How frustrating is that? How frustrating is that? Arx, come on, man. I actually want my calves. As surprising as that might be to you. For goodness sake. Oh, fuck. I'm not going to get them all at this rate, am I? Anyway. But yeah, very strong team. We would have actually killed this Fatalis within about 15 minutes from full health, I think. Maybe not full health. The health may have carried over from the very first attempt that we did. But that was hosted by a different person, so I think it would have to be my quest the whole time for health to carry over in that way. I don't think it carries over based on someone else posting the quest. But anyway, I got 8 calves, I think, so that was still pretty good given the circumstances. We are free! We don't have to do any more Crimson. Good shit. Alright, I got 2 Fatalis Evil Eyes. Good shit. Fatalis Devil Eye is the Crimson Fatalis Eye. So basically, Evil Eye would be your rare drop for Fatalis as a monster, but Crimson Fatalis has his own rare drop, which is Fatalis Devil Eye. So I didn't get that, but that's alright. I got a Crim Wing. That's what you want, fucking Crim Wings. Got some horns. Yeah, pretty good drops, I'm happy with that. Two Evil Eyes. Good drop. I don't particularly need Fatalis stuff, but it's good to have, because I don't have much of it. I don't really like Fatalis, okay? So I don't fight him for fun. The materials that I have acquired from Fatalis in the past have gone directly into equipment. So it's been expended. Alright, CRH. A nice final image for frags there. Fatalis crotch. That's good shit. Descendants of the King has been chosen for our next hunt. That's not very exciting, but anyway. The reason why it's not very exciting is because Descendants of the King is Gold Rathian and Silver Rathalos in the arena together at the same time, which is a quest that people very often use in this game to grind for heavenly scales of both Rathian and Rathalos. It is a very common quest in this game, very frequently grinded by people, and it's kind of boring to have it selected here, but we'll do it. We shall do it, and I'll continue with my gunning posture. I do, however, need to tend to my decorations. What am I doing again? I'm removing from a different chest piece. I think it's Gravios. Where is it? Blango? Is that it? No. Not celebrity. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for a flying jewel, wherever that might be. There it is. Rathalos Vest Axe. So I take the flying jewel out of that and put it in here. It's a little bit awkward, but the reason why I do that is because the flying jewel actually requires a G-rank Fatalis wing, or several, I think, in order to be forged, so I don't have multiple of them, who would have thought. Okay. Gathering Hub 11. Are you for real? God damn it. I have to go. Completely forgot I have school today. I will react simply with this. Alright. Alright, Hitomi has presumably posted the quest, if he's keeping track. He is. Alright. This is one of those rare occasions, ladies and gentlemen, where you will actually see me bring flash bombs to a quest. It does happen just every now and again. Whoops, I want to put those away, but I do want to replenish large barrel bomb plus... what am I doing? So I want thunder shots and water shots. For those who... for the uninitiated. This is a heavy bowgun which shoots all elements except for dragon and freeze. Yeah, so it shoots fire, water, and thunder. For this quest I want water and thunder. I don't think it will be necessary for me to bring combination materials. We're going to shit on these monsters, to be clear. So... what have you got? You've got the Thunder Longsword of the game. Spearman's asking if traps are okay. Of course they are. I'm not precious about it. Some people get a little bit special. They refuse to do Descendants of the King with flash bombs and with traps. I don't like it. Well, guess what? I just want to complete the quest, okay? I'm not precious about it. If you think it's boring, go play a different game. Fuck me. Like, if it's boring... Okay, I'm gonna relax. It's just some people get really, really unpleasant when people throw flash bombs in this game. I agree that spamming flash bombs is pretty excessive and does detract from the experience, but if a person's dropping a trap or throwing a flash bomb, it's a little bit awkward when you start to then negatively react in response to that, because it's literally a feature of the game. Like, that is how you play Monster Hunter. Sorry. That's how you get an advantage over the monster. So, it's a very silly thing to take issue with that. Alright, we're starting with Rathian, so... No, excuse me, we start with Rathalos because he's got the lower health, so I'll load water. Shit's already going on. Alright, so we want the wing. I don't think Rathian's been... Oh no, she has been flashed, excuse me. But yeah, you can see very clearly there is a process here. This is not a quest that people don't often do. This is a well-established thing. We've moved into grinding mode, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, auto-reload, the armor skill, very good. Very good for elemental shots. So how it works, for those who don't know, is it gives you maximum recoil on your bowgun for all shot types, but it prevents you from needing to reload, or it eliminates the need for reloads. But you see, elemental shots and normal shots are exempt from the recoil stat. So there simply is no recoil to worry about. So therefore auto-reload is best paired with elemental shots and normal shots for that reason. So basically all I get here is a plus. I don't have to deal with any sort of negative effect of auto-reload. I'm doing well, Wonderlord. I'd say it was necessary for me to roll that much, honestly. Aiming for the wings. Again, your shot zone are the legs. Your shot zone is the legs. But your elemental weakness is the wings. Got another flash bomb out. It wasn't really necessary for me to do much flashing in this quest because these guys already had that sorted. Almost out of my thunder shots. That's how quickly you plow through them when you don't have to reload. Goodbye. Pretty standard. That's how it goes. And that's with 3 people. Imagine with 4. Oh yeah. Well. As I did in the last quest, I'll just exchange this for whatever I brought in terms of consumables, in terms of ammunition. Yeah, alright, we'll exchange the huskberries. They're not very costly, are they? Alright, well that's Descendants of the King. For those who haven't seen it, there you have it. That is basically how you grind heavenly scales in this game. For these 2 monsters. And you'll see, I'm probably going to get at least 1. You can get as many as 4 or 5 in one quest, it's unbelievable. That's if you're getting extremely lucky. Didn't end up getting one, unfortunately, but I did get a Rathalos Ruby. They're good for Ruby grinding as well. I got an email. Does your phone vibrate when you get an email? Mine usually doesn't, but it did this time. Alright. Depends how many emails you get, I guess. Alright. Oh yeah, lovely. Would we like to all see... I'm going to show you all something funny. Would we all like to see how shit the cooldown is for the random hunt command? Unfortunately, the message disappears, so I wasn't able to completely demonstrate it, but I tried to do another random hunt command, and I still had 2 minutes left on my cooldown. Yeah, what if you do the quest really quickly, huh? What is with this cooldown business? I have always hated that, and will always hate it. I will always complain about it. And I will never approach it in a diplomatic fashion. I will always just sit there and whine and whinge and moan and complain and just snivel and just behave like an absolute pig when it comes to the random hunt command and the way that it really has just been ruined for no good reason. There's no need whatsoever for there to be a cooldown on it, or at least not a cooldown of that sort. Anyway, the quest that has been rolled, because another person in the group has gone and done the command, is Plum Daimyo Humator and Terra Shogun Cyanator, a pretty good showcasing of the crab subspecies of Freedom Unite. And I suppose while I'm here, I may as well go and get some honey. I think it's a DLC quest, is it not? Amizari Carnival. So this, I believe, is the quest that gives you the weird dual blades that I was mentioning before. In the very first quest, when I said that if you hear any weird noises, it's because, I think it was Frags at the time, wasn't it? He was using the Amizari claws, which are dual blades that make weird noises. I'm just going to show you them briefly. They are these things. They're basically crab claw dual blades. Very good stats. Really good. 322 attack, 500 water, and with sharpness +1, a good chunk of purple sharpness as well. I believe this is the quest where you actually get them. So, if this is the quest that I believe it is, you'll actually be fighting both Terra Shogun Cyanator and Plum Daimyo Hermitor together in the Moat Arena. Now, the Moat Arena is a Freedom 2 and Freedom Unite exclusive arena location. It's not really the sort of place that you see often, but it's cool. I'll tell you why it's cool in just a moment. I'll bring a lance. Do I have a raw lance? I should do. Yeah. Dragoon's Gay Bulge is what I call it. Gay Bulge, ladies and gentlemen. It's probably Gay Bulg or something like that. Irish mythology, I believe. But yeah, this is a very cool lance, for those who haven't seen it. It is a departure from the standard, which would be your black Diablos lance. But I really like this. This is a sexy lance. Good stats. Sharpness is pretty reasonable. I like this lance. This lance puts a smile on my face. Just look at it. I mean, aside from the fact that it's got a cheese grater on the back. It's pretty cool. I like the spikes on it. Yeah, so, a Gay Bolg is like a mythological lance. Or spear. So, yeah, there are probably many video games that have a spear or a lance called Gay Bolg. The most popular example of that, at least in anime, would be the Fate series, Fate Stay Night. Okay. I seem to have a big gaping hole in my inventory, which was previously occupied by ammunition and combination materials. I don't know if I can fill it with anything. Probably not. Let's just leave it. Let's just leave it. I've got traps. If I am minded to use them, I will do so. Oh yeah, I've got flash bombs on hand still. Not that they would be especially useful. So, true, I can't really use pitfall traps for this quest, so it would be shock trap. I've just got the one, let's deal with it. See how we go. I think we'll be fine. I like this group. Hitomi is running darkness. Still need to make this on this profile. I had it on a previous version of this save file, but yeah, I don't believe I've got darkness anymore. It's a lovely lance. One of the best lances in the series. I'm happy to say that. Like, it's a strong comment to make, but I genuinely feel it. I think darkness is one of the best. Wonderlord, I will read your comment in just a moment. I'll try to finish this this quest first. To be clear, this quest should be pretty easy, even though it's 2 crabs in one location, because their health is relatively low. There's 2 of them. They are a lower tier monster type, so I think with this team we'll be okay. We're not going to be doing a really intense hunt with 2 crabs where we're just getting absolutely beaten into the ground. It's not going to play out that way. You can see that the Terra Shogun is very docile. I don't think he's actually seen us yet, to be honest. I seem to remember that from previous attempts at this quest. You really don't have to worry about it being that hard. It's very laid back. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you the reason why the moat arena is so good. So the moat arena is the place where you get to see Kezu do an Olympic long jump from that hole over to the land that we're standing on now. I did say this was a laid-back quest. We've already had a death from a Blade Master person, so maybe that was unwise of me to suggest. And we've also had a Farcaster, so I am here on my own. That happened very suddenly, and I really don't know what to say. Have to be ready to shield. Now you know why I've actually got a lance on me. My god. So the question that Wonderlord asks is whether Rathalos as a monster is an unappreciated monster because so many monsters are indeed based off his skeleton. And also, by extension, how do I feel about Rathalos myself? I don't like Rathalos. I've never liked him. I find him to be slightly annoying. I hate how he is in 3rd generation and beyond. The way that he just sort of throws that fireball out and then flies away. Like that, the principle behind that attack is really annoying. The idea that he can get out of range and hit you while he does it. This then extends into all sorts of fuckwittery in 5th generation, in like Monster Hunter World, where he's constantly flying around, lobbing fireballs at you. 1st generation Rathalos is an absolute travesty. I mean, whoever designed that should be put in a jail cell, because that 1st generation Rathalos will not come out of the air. He will constantly be flying around. I mean, when I say 1st gen, I guess I mean Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter G. Not so much Freedom 1. He's a little bit better in that game. But, yeah. Rathalos, I don't particularly like his design. Whether or not he is underappreciated, it's hard to say. He's the flagship of the series. He may be a basic design, but I think he's, for what he is, I think he's well designed. I don't think they did a bad job with his design. I just find him to be a very annoying monster. I've never liked the way he was designed for that reason. But if you were to look at it objectively, I think he's reasonably well designed. As for underappreciated, I can't really make a judgment on that, and I don't care to, because I don't like the monster myself, so... but I'd say he's, you know, well known. He would have to be well known, because as I say, he's the flagship, so... Could they do more with him? Could be another question to ask, potentially. I guess you could argue that they did do that in Monster Hunter World because he got a special event version based on the Monster Hunter movie, which itself was an insult, but, you know, they did something with Rathalos, so there you go. I'm not a Rathalos fan, that's all I can tell you. In conclusion. We can skip the treatise and, quite frankly, just get to the conclusion, and that is that I don't like that monster. Never liked him. Rathian I think's pretty cool. Rathian, weirdly, I like how she works. I like her dynamics. I like the way she's a bit more grounded and does her tail flips. I mean, that's not to say that I enjoy Pink Rathian, and at times Gold Rathian gives me the shits, but I like the way Rathian works. Feels a little bit more comfortable to hunt, and I like just the way she moves and the way... I like the way you walk, I like the way you talk. But, yeah. She's a fine-ass dragon. I don't know why I took that tone, but basically, yeah, I'm more of a Rathian fan than I am a Rathalos fan. Dread King Rathalos was kind of cool. But also very similar to the original. But, yeah, I mean, other monsters with the skeleton I find to be better. Like, I'm a huge fan of Astalos. I think he's a very cool monster, Astalos. But, But yeah, I think the question that you were asking was probably slightly different to what I presented. I thought you were referring to, like, monsters that have a similar skeleton, but it seems like you're describing monsters that are meant to compete with Rathalos. I don't really know what you mean by that. Like, compete as in, like, within an environment where they're competing for food, or, like, well, I don't know. But anyway. What I would say, regardless, is that because I don't like Rathalos, I don't have any strong opinions besides not liking him, you know? That really is the extent of it. Popularity? Okay. Again, when you're the flagship, you're almost above that kind of conversation. Like, talking about monsters that are appreciated and not appreciated, he's the flagship, you know? It's hard to really say whether he's overappreciated or underappreciated or what. Oh god. I just did the random hunt command, and we got Black Fatalis. That is not happening. I'm not doing that. Yeah. So this is him saying, nope, we're not doing Fatalis. I did understand what he was getting at. Alright, we've got Yian Garuga instead. I'm much happier with that. Much happier with that. And in that event, I will use... something about Book of Combos 1 and my inventory are not gelling today. It constantly wants to leave my inventory, I don't know why. I'm sure it's my fault, but I find it difficult to take ownership of that. Alright, this has never happened before, and I might need to get my head examined, but I feel like using a greatsword against this monster. I really couldn't tell you why. Water, greatsword, Plesioth Waveblade, here we fucking go. A greatsword against this monster? Why? I really don't understand. I don't understand myself sometimes. Very curious. You will notice that on occasion I do have to muck about with my decorations with my armor sets. It's all good, Wonderlord. Don't worry about your grammar. Howling at the Moon, Yian Garuga. This is going to be in the Great Forest, which of course is a Monster Hunter Freedom Unite exclusive location. It does not exist in any other game. It is a G-rank only location in the final 2nd gen game. So, Freedom Unite, that's it. It does exist in Frontier, of course. It comes from Frontier originally, I believe. But when it comes to the mainline games, it is exclusive to Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. It is worth mentioning, just generally speaking, that when I refer to Monster Hunter, I refer only to the mainline series. I do not refer to Frontier, Monster Hunter Online, because, you know, games like those I have played, but not extensively, and I certainly don't think it's worth confusing the issue by including the content of those games, because they're not, as I say, part of the mainline series, so they're more like the exception, rather than being the automatic part of the conversation. I think it's best to treat them separately. To treat of them separately. Well, it's interesting you mentioned, like, maybe you would get more annoyed by a Rathalos because you see him very often. In that sense, I don't find him to be all that bad, because I don't get sick of Rathalos, you know? Like, I've fought him in so many games, but I don't completely lose all desire to play the game because I've fought Rathalos a million times before, you know? I actually still consider him to be reasonably entertaining to fight. I don't like him as a monster that much, but I'm not sick of him. I guess he's well designed enough. Oh, seems like Frags had to leave because he has to do his laundry. I mean, really, is that any reason to completely leave the room? I don't know. How long does it take to do your laundry? Come on. Hurry up. Yian Garuga was a weird addition. I don't actually know what they were playing at in 1st gen, because the thing with Yian Garuga is that obviously in 1st generation Monster Hunter he was treated not as a normal monster, but as this special monster who was almost like an Elder Dragon. He had very, very high health. He was listed as a special monster, so he would have the purple quests, like Fatalis does. I don't know why they decided that he had to be so strong, but here in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and indeed Freedom 2 as well, he is not like that. And I'm sure it's probably the same in Monster Hunter DOS. I think he's treated mostly as a normal monster. He has normal health now. You know, he has the sort of health that you would expect of a monster who is a combination of Rathian and Yian Garuga. So, yeah, kind of weird. But yeah, he's back to normal in this game. Spearman is telling me, let's go. Fine. 2-man Yian Garuga. And I'm using Greatsword. Jumping, Jesus. Yeah, I did hear about that actually, AJ. The fact that in Monster Hunter Portable you can't access Yian Garuga without connecting to your PlayStation 2. Those bloody Japanese. Yeah, I guess that's a good point, actually. Putting Yian Garuga in the same category as Rajang and Deviljho does make sense. You know, monsters that are not Elder Dragons, but they seem to be in a tier of their own, you know, quite strong, high health, designed to really be a challenge to the average player. Is this one-ear Garuga? Just a question. I think it is one-ear Garuga. Bless you. Bless you, Yian Garuga. You're going to have a serious problem. This is much more comfortable than I was expecting it to be. I see a dead Hornator. You get calmed immediately. That's what happens with you. Okay, apparently in Monster Hunter 2, you can't access Yian Garuga unless you connect to Monster Hunter Portable. What the hell? That's really weird. Oh, I do not have antidotes. Remember I got rid of those because of my need for space to fit ammunition in my inventory. This is why I sometimes don't like using gunner loadouts that require combination materials, because I end up coming back with a Blade Master loadout and not having what I need. But that's alright. The poison doesn't actually last that long, which is good news. Good turnaround. Very nicely done. I tend not to bother with that when I'm offline. Oh, sorry. I only do that when I'm offline. I don't do it online. But yeah, it's a good way to use Greatsword, because when the monster is targeting you all the time, obviously the first thing that's going to be in front of you is their face. You know, it is a very frontal area of attack. When the monster points themselves in your direction, it is their face that is going to be there. And if you're anticipating that they're turning towards you, you can then prepare a Greatsword charge. And this tends to go very, very well with damage dealing. Because not only are you able to deal the damage, you can also flinch the monster, keep it in place, and then you're safe. Because that's the expectation if you're the target, is that if they're turning towards you, it's to go and attack you, but if you're flinching them in place, you can deal the damage and also remain safe. Like that. Good timing for that demonstration. Just as I was explaining it. But yeah, Greatsword is a very interesting thing, actually. The people who play Freedom Unite are very taken with the Greatsword weapon type. So if you, say, dial the clock back to 2010, Monster Hunter Tri has just come out. A new cohort of people playing that game. People were pretty afraid of the Greatsword. People were not willing to use it. It was slow, it was cumbersome, it was quite challenging to use. I can tell you that the people who play Freedom Unite, back then and also today, are people who actually consider Greatsword to be really worth learning to use, and will tend to give the Greatsword a try in the same way as, like, 3rd gen players would use the longsword. It's really weird. The reason why it's weird is because because of how consistent it is. The Greatsword is the most used weapon type in this game. And, yeah, I think that's really fascinating. People are just not shy to give Greatsword a try here. When I used it, when I was playing Freedom Unite, I got absolutely shat on by the monsters. But, yeah. It was my first Monster Hunter game, so I had a lot of work to do in getting used to Monster Hunter in general, so... I mean, I don't know, is Greatsword a good first weapon type for a person getting used to Monster Hunter? My argument generally would be no, but that's based on my own experience, and not everyone is like me. So... there you go. Well, focus is definitely a requirement. If you're not using focus, I would not recommend using Greatsword. But obviously some people inevitably would be using Greatsword without it, if they're using it as if it is as ubiquitous and heavily subscribed to as the longsword weapon type. Oh, probably not the best bounce there. Hitomi played it much better than I did, as you can see. This is a bit dangerous. I really should have healed myself. Okay, well that Hornator completely ruined my intentions there. Completely, So what I was doing in that moment was actually doing a draw charge, but because I got flinched at that precise moment by a Hornator, it ended up just being a regular unsheath. Definitely not what I was going for. Didn't quite reach level 2 there. Also, to be clear, I'm not precious about the critical draw, or Art of Unsheathing as it's called here. People who use Art of Unsheathing in this game are very, very particular. Like, they will not do a great... Oh no, I can see Hitomi is not that precious about it. Look, some people who use critical draw, aka Art of Unsheathing in this game, just refuse to do anything except draw attacks, and I understand the reason why they do it. But for me, I don't want to curtail my DPS by playing in that way. I think you'd be better off just being consistent. Just attacking when you've got the opportunity, if it presents itself. Nicely done. Good hunt. Greatsword enthusiasts everywhere will cringe to see me using an elemental greatsword. Hey, guess what? Have one of those. Seriously, people will tell you in the Freedom Unite community of Hunsterverse to never use elemental greatsword because it's not very good. I mean, that's not true. Yes, relative to a raw greatsword, it's not as good, but it's still very effective, to be very clear. Wonderlord is saying Switch Axe is better than greatsword. That is a... Those are fighting words, my friend. But yeah, I do very often, well, at least in the past, not these days, I don't really check the Freedom Unite chat these days, but in the past, people were very often discouraged from using Elemental Greatsword. There's just absolutely no need for it. There's no need to force people to play the metagame. You can be effective without being at absolute peak effectiveness. I think that is the correct way to play Monster Hunter. If you narrow your options to the point where you're only using the best possible loadouts, you get less enjoyment out of the game, in my opinion. Less options means less variety. Alright, how long have we been live? Has it really... That can't be right. 1 hour and 39 minutes. It feels like it's been more than 2 hours, my god. Let me make sure that this... Yeah, 1 hour and 39 minutes. It feels like it's been more than 2 hours. Oh well. They say time flies when you're having fun. I must be having a terrible time. Anyway. Alright, the live stream goes on. Very well. Alright, so it looks like I have lost my my only teammate. Spearman is taking a break, so I'm left alone. Can I just comment on Arcs? This guy chats on Discord while driving. He doesn't just chat on Discord while driving. He will go the whole way. He does so many things while driving that I can't quite believe it. I mean, he lives in a country where that's pretty acceptable. But it's weird to see. He's just... Can you imagine chatting on Discord while driving? I can't. I find that difficult to comprehend, but... he does that. Presumably while the car is moving as well. Like, the amount of chatting he does while in the car, while driving, suggests that he does it while the car is moving. Anyway. Yeah, I don't think I'm actually going to get another group, unfortunately. Are there any other rooms? No, I'm the only... Oh! Here I am talking about not getting another group. AJ's here. How you going? Seba. You can see Seba says full. He's got limited English. He's basically asking if there's a free spot. And I've told him that there is a free spot. Happy to have him. What's our next quest? Let's find out. Oh, I can't re-roll, so that must mean I've already done the random hunt command. No, I haven't. Are you kidding me? AJ, would you be able to do the random hunt command in the chat, please? Because apparently I'm on a fucking 11-minute cooldown. That doesn't sound right. I haven't recently done the command. Seriously. This cooldown. Again, I will keep stum, because otherwise I will sit here and fucking rant about that cooldown until the end of time. I will literally sit here and just completely unload in the most unedifying way possible about this cooldown. Thank you. Alright, so we've got Emerald Congalala and regular Congalala. It is a DLC quest called Expunge the Funk, which is funny because I used the word expunge just recently. Hopefully Seba stays in the room. I will bring... what should I bring? Have I got any weird weapons that I haven't used recently? You know what, I'll bring a hunting horn. How about that? I never do that, do I? Hunting horn in this game? It almost never happens. So I've got the Divine Ancient Dragonwood Flute here, which I tend to use for general quests. Demon's Dark Flute. I could bring that. Ooh, thought my game had crashed for a moment there. That would have been weird. Yeah, okay. Demon's Dark Flute, let's do it. So, Wonderlord, the first game to actually allow you to remain in the session to change your loadout was Monster Hunter 1. So it depends on how the game works. The portable games are the ones where you have to actually physically leave the online session in order to change your equipment. It's because of how they design the online. So Monster Hunter 1, Monster Hunter G, Monster Hunter 2, and Monster Hunter Tri, they are all much better integrated. So you actually go into a completely different section. You either go village or you go city. If you go into the city mode, that means you are all online, all the time. So you can go and change your equipment and you're not leaving the session. It's much more clean, it's better connected. But, yeah, hopefully Seba comes back. I probably should have told him what was going on. But anyway. I have to go event quest and expunge the funk. Wherever that is. Porky Panic Party. Might have to do that one day. Porky Panic Party. But yeah, so in other words, having to actually leave the online session in order to change your equipment is not indicative of a generation of Monster Hunter. It's just, it reflects what you have to do in the portable games. So this is a portable Monster Hunter that was on the PSP, so this is how it has to be done, unfortunately. As is always the case when I equip a hunting horn in this game. I have to go and get my song sheet. Hunting horn music sheet. Okay. Alright, so it's purple, blue, red. So I've got attack up large, infinite stamina large. Yeah. So purple, red, red, purple, blue, blue is really all I need to worry about. I can also do wind pressure. So that's blue, blue, red. What are we hunting? It is... Oh, we don't need wind pressure for this monster. So, there you go. Is it just going to be the two of us? I want Saber to come back, but I don't think he's going to. I really don't think he will. AJ's got a sword and shield that I don't have. I'm trying to get it. I don't really have the Daora weapons in this game. I used to have the greatsword, not anymore. Previous version of this save file. Yeah, I think this is the best we're going to do. 2-man. It's probably not wise for me to use a hunting horn under these circumstances. Alright, no hunting horn. Sorry, hunting horn enthusiasts. Dual blades. Let's do dual blades. As for which, that is the question. I don't really have raw dual blades, so I need to find a happy medium. Let me just check the weakness of Emerald Congalala. So I believe his primary weakness is ice. But I'd like to know what his secondary is. Okay, so he's not weak at all to fire. I mean, he is slightly, but not much. He's very resistant to dragon. So if I check the weakness of regular Congalala. Okay, yeah, ice is the best choice because regular Congalala, his secondary is actually ice. Primary is fire, but his secondary is ice, so ice is definitely the best choice. Very good. Ice dual blades it is. I'll know that for next time. Because I really didn't know what the secondary elemental weakness for regular Congalala would be. But now I do know. Yeah, regular Congalala is the fire weak monster. Okay, let's get that quest back up. Yeah, I wasn't expecting regular Congalala to be weak to ice as well, but it's definitely the best choice for this quest. Let's go. But yeah, I definitely can't bring myself to use a hunting horn when there's only 2 of us. That is just ridiculous, is it not? That would not be acceptable in any way. Some people do it, but I tend to decry those people and their behavior. So I'm not going to start doing it myself. AJ has already gotten falcon punched in the face by a Congalala. He was in combat for about half a microsecond and already got falcon punched. I can't believe that they start in the same area together. That's a bit rough, isn't it? Dung bombs don't really work the same in this game as they do in 3rd gen and beyond, but I can't imagine that these monsters would be very susceptible to dung. You wouldn't imagine. Let's just see how we go. What are you doing? How many times do you need to reposition yourself? Ow. Stomach attack. Imagine having an attack where your stomach just expands on the hunter. I suppose you needn't imagine it, you've already witnessed it for yourself, but... it's pretty ridiculous if you think about it. This is awful. Why do we have to have both of them in the same area? I'm worried that when they leave, they'll just go to the same place as well. We may be doomed to experience double Congalala for this entire hunt. Well, okay, fine. That is the result of fart attack stench. I wasn't able to heal. I really don't know what to say. I thought I had paintballed both of them. Oh, okay. So they were so close to one another that it looked like just one paintball, but no, there are two. This is crap. Why do they have to be together? I get that it's an event quest, but this is no fun at all. It probably would be best to aim for the standard Congalala first, wouldn't it? He probably has less health. Oh, I was expecting a fart. It was instead stench breath. What an asshole. Literally. Oh my god. I can't be in this position again. I should have brought deodorant. How are you paralyzing him, by the way? Is that not the Kushala Sword and Shield? How is he getting paralyzed? I'm actually at risk of dying again. So I just need to stand back and wait for this to stop. I need to wait for it to disappear. This is ridiculous. What is ultimately ridiculous is that I did not bring deodorants to this hunt. Fucking hell. This is a serious monkey experience. Oh, come on. This is way too much monkey. Just in general. No, go away, I'm sharpening. It's so weird, isn't it, how much the Emerald Congalala repositions himself before actually committing to something. very odd. Alright, so I would really like to be able to fight you for a while. Oh, he's dead. Good news, good news. No more double monkey. He's getting a little bit of a monkey overload there. You can, incidentally, have too much of a good thing. And this was not that. This was too much of a bad thing. So, imagine that. Well, as before, you needn't imagine it. You saw it for yourself. Blangonga is my least favorite monkey, yeah. Definitely. Standard Blangonga. Trash monster. Followed shortly thereafter by Congalala. Rajang I think is okay. I don't enjoy Rajang as a monster, personally. But he's well designed. He's got a better design compared to these other monkeys. But it would be correct to say that generally speaking I do not like the monkey monsters. The ranking goes as follows, from worst to best. Blangonga, Congalala, Emerald Congalala, Copper Blangonga, Rajang. I quite like Copper Blangonga. I think he's well designed. And feels much better than standard Blangonga. And prior to actually fighting Copper Blangonga, I wasn't expecting him to be very good, but he did end up being very good. Got a moss swine running around there. Look, I don't mind subspecies staying in 2nd gen. I think the less monsters to get carried over, the better. Because then it adds more value to the older games. It's better to return to a game where you can fight something that you can't fight anywhere else. Because it makes the act of returning to an older game more worthwhile. Like how if I go and play Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, I can fight monsters like Morales and Abyssal Lagiocrus, and you can't do that anywhere else. That's a good thing. It's not a good thing for people who don't play the older games, I guess, but, you know, I don't really worry about that. There's always a way. If you want to play the games, you always can. You just have to be patient enough. Yeah, the portable games, they have subspecies, but they're not actually recorded as separate monsters. They are, in the hunt, the monster list, recorded as a regular monster. Like the same as the standard, in other words. I can't believe that we haven't got him limping. Oh well. I suspect we'll kill him in this area, though. We still haven't destroyed your haircut. We've got some work to do on that front. I had a feeling he was going to do that. What an annoying monster. Why did you have to take... Oh, he's going to his sleeping area, so he must be weak. In other words, capturable. He's gone into the cave. Again, very annoying that he felt the need to go to Area 8 first in order to do that. Let's bomb the fuck out of him. Bastard. You got any bombs, AJ? I guess not. Get fucked. Take that. Can't stand monkeys. Getting a lot of standard Pelagus stuff. Pelagus is obviously the classification for these monsters. They are incidentally not wyverns, much to the surprise of precisely nobody. Imagine if they tried to say that this was, like, in some way a dragon. That would be a little difficult to sell. That would be a hard sell, wouldn't it? This is a dragon, guys. Look at it. Yep, that's a dragon. So yes, it's not a wyvern of any kind. It's a Pelagus type monster. A good attempt. Alright, I think that's going to do me for this live stream. We've hit the 2 hour mark. I don't know why it felt like it was taking so long to reach 2 hours today, but anyway. Yeah. We ventured back into Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and while that wasn't my first choice, I thought that we were going to have, you know, a group of people to play with in Freedom 1. Didn't pan out, which is okay. Had good fun in Freedom Unite nonetheless. And yeah, I thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time I'm recording a Monster Hunter game. Bye bye for now.